Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere.
She is seeking a restraining order against Beyonce. She's accusing her of dark magic, witchcraft, tapping into her.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
These people are not powerful. Satan can't.
Looks like Beyonce's feeling the heat after Katt Williams spilled the beans on her supposed ties to the Illuminati. Katt went into detail, suggesting Beyonce might have used some spooky stuff to hit the big time. Now, we've all heard those whispers about Beyonce and the Illuminati before, but Katt's really brought it to the forefront. He didn't stop at Beyonce either. He threw a bunch of other folks in the industry under the bus too. Katt used to keep his industry rants among his comedian buddies, but now that he's seen the reaction, he's going all out. He's taking aim at the top dogs, including Beyonce herself. So what exactly did Katt say about Beyonce? And is there any truth to these claims of witchcraft helping her rise to fame? Let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole. But of course, before we go any further, make sure first that you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell for more updates and videos like this. Now let's get going.
Beyonce's really not helping Chloe's project or Chloe's album.
I think Beyonce should post because that's her artist, but Beyonce isn't obligated.
What the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. But I'm not scared of being the
At one point that I was living in like a haunted house because I was hearing scratches on the wall right next to me. I would feel a brush by me and be terrified that somebody is here.
So, Katt's been on a roll lately with his truth-telling sessions. Remember when he popped up on Club Shady not too long ago and called out some comedians for supposedly selling out to Hollywood? Well, guess what? He's back at it again, and this time he's not holding back on anyone. Yep, he's taking shots at everyone in the industry, no exceptions. And guess who's on the receiving end this time? Yep, you guessed it, Beyonce. Now let's give credit where it's due. Beyonce's put in the work. I mean, she practically grew up in the spotlight, starting with Destiny's Child when she was just a teen. She poured her heart and soul into rehearsals, performances, you name it. But here's the thing, plenty of other talented folks have done the same grind without hitting Beyonce's levels of success. And that's got people wondering, is there more to her career than meets the eye?
On paper, they're a better team. They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that...
You know, back when Beyonce went solo after Destiny's Child, there were whispers about whether she left the others behind to boost herself up. Now, we can't say for sure if there is any truth to that, but let's face it, the other group members haven't exactly stolen the spotlight. Just the other day, Kelly Rowland had a moment where she opened up about feeling overshadowed. She had a tough time during an interview, understandably so, when the focus kept drifting to Beyonce's latest gigs instead of her own projects. It's gotta be frustrating being in Beyonce's shadow all the time.
This just dropped a whole new couple of songs, and it's my understanding that Renaissance 2 may or may not be country-based. And then there's a rumor going around that Renaissance 3 may be either rock-based or a DC reunion.
That is her business to talk about.
I mean, come on!
No, but just ask them. I'm here talking about Mia Culpa.
Okay.
In fact, there's been some talk about Beyonce allegedly taking inspiration from other artists like Mary. Every year, it seems like folks bring up the similarities between Mary's One Thing and Beyonce's Crazy in Love. Some die-hard Beyonce fans will argue that there's no way she could have swiped the song because Crazy in Love dropped before One Thing. But here's the scoop. Mary was actually working on that track way before it hit the shelves. And rumor has it, Beyonce got her hands on it after expressing some serious love for the tune. Now, both Mary and Beyonce were under Columbia at the time, so it wasn't exactly a stretch for Beyonce to snag it. There's even a blind item floating around that supposedly hint at Beyonce and the whole Crazy in Love situation. One tune drops in 03, Crazy in Love, and the other in 05, One Thing. So how can Beyonce, a well-respected singer, swipe another artist's vibe if her track came first? Well, let's ask Columbia, the label they both called home. Turns out the original song was floating around behind the scenes when Beyonce was on the hunt for new tunes. She dug it and got her producer, Rich Harrison, to whip up a hit inspired by it. Meanwhile, the singer who claimed she got her sound stolen had to sit on her song for 2 years before it saw the light of day, even though it came first. But Beyonce's alleged story of pushing others aside doesn't stop there. There's talk of her using witchcraft to overshadow Chloe and Halle Bailey and keep herself shining in the industry.
Beyonce's really not helping Chloe's project or Chloe's album.
I think Beyonce should post because that's her artist, but Beyonce isn't obligated to.
Chloe and Halle burst onto the scene a few years back with their internet covers, kicking off with a rendition of Beyonce's Best Thing I Never Had. Beyonce herself noticed and scooped them up, signing them to her label, Parkwood Entertainment. But despite having Queen Bey in their corner, their rise wasn't as meteoric as folks expected. They dropped a couple of tracks together, but none really blew up, even though critics raved about their album. Now, here's where it gets interesting. People were buzzing about Chloe potentially being the next big thing, maybe even the next Beyonce. But it seemed like Beyonce wasn't having it. When Chloe's solo track Have Mercy made waves with millions of views in just 24 hours, she was on the brink of stardom. But then the Beyonce comparisons flooded in, and suddenly, Beyonce's support seemed to vanish. Chloe's debut album got pushed back, so much that it ended up flopping, with zero backing from Parkwood Entertainment. It's a shame, really, how things can change in the industry.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
Correct.
I don't care who you blaming.
I believe that. I believe that.
Somebody benefited. Yeah. So in all of these situations, there's a business involved and there's real money with business they're in. Why would you think it would be weird if they flipped out and said a story that turned?
You know, it's interesting to see how some artists can really boost the careers of those they sign to their labels. Jay-Z did it with Rihanna, and Lil Wayne did it with Nicki Minaj and Drake. But when Beyonce gets involved, it's like a different story. It's like her star shines brighter while the other artists she signs seem to fade into the background. And that's got people wondering, is there something more going on here? Some folks speculate that Beyonce might be dabbling in some kind of mystical stuff, draining the energy from these artists until they've got nothing left. It sounds wild, but it's part of the reason why these rumors keep circulating. And Katt Williams? Well, he kind of poured fuel on the fire during a candid chat with Carrie Champion.
In this business, the star is the commodity. These are real people, real lives. When you see things happen and you don't have all of it.
He didn't outright say Beyonce's name, but the dots were easy to connect. He hinted that nothing in Hollywood is as it seems, and there's a whole strategic game being played behind the scenes. It's like a wild coincidence isn't so coincidental after all. It's all part of a plan to boost one and bury another. And when he brought up Janet Jackson's career dip after the Super Bowl incident, while Justin soared, it got a lot of heads nodding in agreement.
Business where make-believe happens, where the job is to have something that costs 9 cents for us to make, and we sell it for $4.99.
It's wild how these rumors just keep swirling, isn't it? Even popular YouTube blogger Storm Monroe jumped into the mix, spilling some serious tea about Beyonce and her supposed witchcraft antics. Storm didn't hold back. He dove deep into the specifics of the witchcraft Beyonce is rumored to practice. And he didn't stop there. He dragged Madonna into the mix too, claiming she's some kind of high-ranking witch. According to Storm, Beyonce might even be next in line to take Madonna's place when she steps down. Then, Storm dropped some jaw-dropping examples of these supposed replacement rituals happening in Hollywood, like when Nicki Minaj's career took off after her Super Bowl gig with Madonna in 2012. Storm suggested that Madonna was initiating Nicki into the inner circle with that performance, but it came at a cost. MIA's career took a nosedive while Nicki soared to new heights. It's all pretty mind-blowing stuff if you ask me.
Eventually, she will be taking Madonna's spot, and she will have the job of initiating her replacements. Beyonce's getting older. She's getting up there. Rihanna's going to drop one more album this summer, and then she's not making any more music.
And here's another bombshell. Remember Beyonce's longtime dancer who rocked the stage with her for a solid 7 years? Well, in 2018, she dropped a bombshell and quit, accusing Beyonce of some seriously dark stuff behind the scenes. She claimed Beyonce was deep into some extreme witchcraft and went as far as harassing her after she left, just to keep her from spilling any secrets.
In like a haunted house, because I was hearing scratches on the wall right next to me. I would feel brush.
And let's not forget Beyonce's own admission about feeling possessed by her alter ego, Sasha Fierce. She straight up said she calls on Sasha whenever she hits the stage because, believe it or not, she's actually pretty shy in real life. Right before I hit the stage for the BET Awards, she said, I felt something else take over me. It's like she's got this whole other persona ready to take the wheel when she performs. Listen, the stuff happening in Hollywood is like something straight out of a movie, and Beyonce seems to be right smack in the middle of it all. It's getting to the point where we gotta start raising an eyebrow and asking some tough questions. I mean, everyone can't be spinning the same tale, right? Between the alleged stealing and these bizarre rituals, it's like there's more to Beyonce's story than meets the eye. Now I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What can you say about the recent allegations about Beyonce dabbling in witchcraft? And do you believe she was the individual Katt Williams was referring to in his interview? That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.